Give to the World Ministries welcomes you to another teaching by Ralphena is well qualified to share the message you're about to hear, as she lives the principles she teaches daily. As you listen, we trust this message will encourage you, help you grow, and develop into maturity as a believer in the kingdom of God. The word you don't know is the word that cannot help you, and the word that doesn't take root can never bring a harvest. Let this message take root in the ground of your heart as you listen to it over and over and take notes. Receive this message. Receive your harvest.
Oh, hi. How are you? This is Ralphena. We're going to get together for the next few minutes, and I just hope that I can be of some help to you. I've just become anemic. Well, it's an insatiable desire in me to get information out so that people will know the truth, because we don't talk about it very much. And when we do, the people that say they love the Lord have turned the world away because we don't understand what they think, and we make it seem like that God doesn't care, and He does. He does care about the condition you're in. He does care about how you feel. He does care about what place you're in your life in comparison to where He designs you to be at this time in your life to get you to the purpose He gave you for your life. Okay. I just know that the concepts that we've lacked to recognize, they were things that were being sent to us for a purpose. We are in a place where we have perpetual bombardment of negative, accusatory, insulting, belittling, sarcasm, demeaning, ridicule. Constantly. That's happening. And especially to men today. I mean, they are just bombarded with every kind of negative thing, and it's emulsified and magnified, and it's made into something that it never was to look like it was supposed to be, or intended to be something that was just bring such misery and pain to women. And I understand that there have been men that have done evil things and have caused great misery and pain in the lives of some women. But those men were on assignment, whether with permission or without permission, by Satan to push an agenda so that women would be in a position ahead of men. And right now, women are ahead of men in population. It's more of us than there are them. Women are ahead of men in standing up and forcing our agenda. We're doing that better than they are. And we are undermining the image or the plan of God for the family image. We find ourselves women that have been a child or daughter, and we were either failed as a daughter or being failed at being daughtered. Somebody was supposed to be your parent or your protector, and they didn't. They didn't. And as a result, your image of what a parent or an example is, it's been skewed. You came to a place where you wanted to be a wife, and that was a disaster. I mean, and it was because you didn't get certain training. You never dealt with, excuse me. You never dealt with or was taught to deal with the interaction between you and another person in a place where you inhabit the same space, and how to deal with interaction with people and responses to people, and understanding that people are different and they have something to offer that may not be what you have to offer, and that makes you a bigger and a more capable entity. Some of women never figure that out. He's not like me. He doesn't do this, so then he's not good for me. No, he may be exactly what you need so that you become the whole person. He's not sensitive to me, and that's a problem men have. That they're only, it seems like in the culture we live in, it's all about whether they are happy with themselves and whether they get what they want. You know, I had a lady tell me that, you know, she didn't understand why her husband was so unaware of the fact that when they make love and he gets to a place where he's gratified, he's finished. And he never even considers the fact that she hasn't received any gratification. And she's been with him now 29 years. So she has in her heart some deep resentment of being used as a vessel to cause him to be so happy and fulfilled, but he never considered whether she was happy and fulfilled. So her experience was in the company of a woman. That fulfillment was given to her by a woman. And as a result, she don't want no man no more. And she's not sorry about it because she feels like she wasted years. She feels like she missed out. She feels like she was cheated. And when you deal with people that have those kind of serious issues, it's very difficult to tell them, well, you know, God said. No, you have to deal with people where they really, really are. We're perpetuated and bombarded with images that make the evil side of life and the evil things of life and the ugly things of life and the things that don't include God more real to us. And I thought about all these preludes to the end time agenda in the form of movies. Man, I remember back in the day, I don't remember the name of the TV show, but Tom Hanks had a TV show where he was attempting to go to school, and the only way he could get in the dorm was that he be a girl. And him and his friend, I don't even remember the other actor, dressed like girls and did something. Well, there is a demeaning thing to a man who wears girl clothing. And so the agenda is that if you want to be a superstar or be an entertainer on a level where you're able to make large amounts of money, Satan wants you to be demeaned. And you have to be willing to be demeaned so that you can get the chance to make the money that makes you think you are a success. And one of those things is that you put on women's clothes. And I think about all the movies where men wore women's clothes. I mean, you know, I think about the movie where it was what was his name? The dancer Swayze and Wesley Snipes and Lipinzano, the three of them traveling across the country dressed up as women. And these were men who claimed to be transvestites or men who felt like females on the inside. That's the work of the devil, to cause a confusion in your mind as to who you are. You got a body, but you got a mind that says something else. You have a desire for something that's doesn't fit who you are. It's like Mr. Potato Head. You know, you could take Mr. Potato Head and you can put Mr. Potato Head, I wrote that down the other night, Mr. Potato Head, where you take the head and you put a different mouth on it, and now it's smiling. It wasn't smiling before, now it's smiling. And put the Mr. Potato Head's legs on, different legs, different feet. Put Mr. Potato Head's eyes on, and the eyes. So the enemy wants you to be looking like the God you say you serve is confused about how he made you. He's not confused about how he made you. You're not no Mr. Potato Head to God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. So if God is not doing this to you, who is doing this to you? So who's causing you to feel like you don't belong in a man's suit if you're a man? All of a sudden you feel like you need to be in a woman's. And we have little children. How do little children get to a point where they're so sensitive to their sexuality? And we have dumb parents that don't understand. Instead of fighting for your child and praying over your child and loving your child and teaching your child, you release your child to be inhabited and taken over, and manifestations of the inhabitants to come out. Oh, it's a serious thing. And I think about the Splash movie where there was a mermaid. And you know, the mermaid concept it's not a imaginary thing that didn't ever exist. There has been a time where these godlike, man, animal creatures actually had some part to play, and Satan was able to push a man in with a man head and a goat body, a bird with a man head, a man standing with a bird head, and all these kind of interchangeable parts. They said that he was able to take the creation of God, which was a man and a woman, and turn it around and shuffle it and come up with a man that had hooves, and a man that had wings, a man that had a beak, and and they started this stuff years and years and years and years and years ago. I remember, now, I'm old enough to remember black and white movies. Some of y'all don't know nothing about that, but I do. And I'm not sorry, because I thank God he allowed me to have some historical references. But I remember years ago, the movie came out called The Werewolf. Now, we got all these movies out now talking about werewolves. But in the 30s, there was an actor named Lon Chaney. And when you look up the actor, Lon, L-O-N, Chaney, C-H-E-N-E-Y, they say he was evil and twisted in his thinking when he wasn't behind the movie set. He had been invaded by darkness. It was the same thing like the movie years and years ago where a Dracula, it was another actor that was just Dracula, came out of Transylvania. And now here we have the Twilight movies and all the movies where the people drink blood. Do you think that they just talked about blood for nothing? Blood has power. And they understand life is in the blood. They understand that. But see, we're so busy being entertained, we don't get the seriousness of it. So here was Dracula. And the actor, look up the actor, Bela Lugosi. His name was B-E-L-L-A, and then L-A-G-O-S-E-E, Bela Lugosi. Oh, this is back in the 20s and 30s. Silent movies. Silent movies. They laid little crumbs down, and then they waited a little while, lay a little crumb down, then lay 2 crumbs down, and then they lay down, way down, they laid 3 crumbs down. And now we standing on nothing but crumbs. The image that they want you to have, the thinking they want you to have, the philosophies they want you to buy, the ideas they want you to accept, the feelings they want you to feel. This is an end time thing. This is a demonic thing. Don't let the devil tell you something about this. It's going to be aliens. Every alien that is discussed, every alien that they contend with and even try and manifest in some physical form so you can see it, is the image or the idea or the precept of how a demon is introduced into your life. There's some movies you need to see. I remember back in the 60s, and I guess it was 60s, maybe 70s, a movie called Soil and Green. And you want to understand what the philosophy of the thinking of the people that are under the influence of darkness think. Well, Soil and Green, Charlton Heston. You know, Charlton Heston was, I don't know how many movies, I don't remember how many movies he was in, and he never wore a dress, never wore pants. He was in Spartacus, not Spartacus, Ben-Hur and Moses and all kind of movies. And he was always in one of those dresses that the men wore back in the day, you know. Then they slowly stroked us back after all the witches and things were burned at the stake, and it was so terrible, and they claimed it was horrible. But then they jumped up with this witch, bewitched little cute blonde lady called Elizabeth Montgomery. And she was on TV, and she twitched her nose in black and white movies back in the 60s, 70s. Bewitched. And she married a man, and he was devastated by it at first, and then he just started playing around with it and showed her mother. And her mother was a older witch from another era in time. And so she just had a hateful, sarcastic, deliberately combative spirit. Well, that's what witches are. They're not no happy blondes. They may look happy and blonde, but trust me, the spirit in them is not. Planet of the Matthew Broderick. They came up with this this movie that showed how we were supposed to interact with animals and how smart animals are, and this X thing with Matthew Broderick and these animals, these apes in this test laboratory, and how he was supposed to feed them and prepare them so they could be used as guinea apes, but guinea pig kind of testing, figure out how they respond and what they could be taught to do and all that kind of stuff. Then there was this Goldblum guy that absolutely one of the best actors in Hollywood. I don't think they like him much. I can't tell why he hasn't had more work. And I'm told he's kind of, I've heard he's the kind of picky person that likes things done a certain way. But I remember he came into the visibility in a movie called The Fly. And you talking about some of the most spellbinding and influential experience looking at him because of his eyes. He just had these absolutely phenomenal eyes. His eyes, just big, beautiful eyes, you know, and seductive eyes. I mean, seductive eyes. Just these gorgeous eyes. And he got contaminated by being in a container with a fly. And the fly, and he exchanged body parts. And here he is with a fly head, and the man with a fly with a man's body. Just messed up. And but that was letting you know that there's some plans that they could twist things around and let things be another way, a way we're not accustomed to seeing. And what do you do with it after it happens? And how do you put the genie back in the bottle? Well, you can't, you know. And that's what they're trying to tell you. They're making progress daily. It's going to put you in a bottle, let the thing out of a bottle that you can't put back in. And it's going to have impact on you. And usually the plan is that it would dismiss you and devalue you and eliminate you and just abolish you. Your necessity to be here is just being eliminated completely. Manchurian Candidate, that's a movie about brainwashing and mind control and the ability to take over somebody's mind and cause them to think a certain way and do certain things. And all they have to be, it has an activating thing. It's an activator. All of a sudden a bell rings, a word is spoken, a color flashes, or a sound comes up, and all of a sudden, bam, you're in another place, thinking another thing, doing another thing, in agreement with it. Your whole being is now activated to function. It's like the old movie that came out in the 80s called Telephone. Oh, man, that was a black and white movie. That was something serious. And you tell me that the people that are doing these mass shootings and these mass killings and these mass murders and these unexplainable episodes of violence and insanity and terrorism isn't in the same vein as this movie Telephone, Telephon. Oh, no, it's not. It's Telefon, Telephone. Interesting. But you see, you got to get hungry for knowledge. You got to want to know. You got to seek a way to develop understanding. You can't just sit there and just let everything pour over you like you're a big pile of pancakes and whatever pours on you, just go suck it up and be like it. Pancakes lay there and the syrup runs on them, and the next thing they know, they just sweet. We can't be that way. We have to be able to determine who we are, what God made us to be, and what we're supposed to look like, and actually what we're supposed to taste like. When people come across our paths, we should leave a taste in their mouth. It's not something was given to us out of a bottle, through a TV screen, off of an outfit that we wear, off of our hair color, off of our artificial boobs, off of our hips that are made with fix-a-flat. Oh, they did that movie, Manchurian Candidate. Oh, I don't know when it was, maybe the 60s or 70s. I saw it when I was a kid in a theater. I was the only person in the whole theater on the south side of Chicago, in a little theater on 51st and Calumet. I think the name of the movie house was the Calumet, if I'm not mistaken. And I saw that movie in that theater. I would go in the theater, and the man would give me yesterday's popcorn, and I would go in there and sit down by myself and watch the movies, and he'd run the whole movie just for me. And I remember seeing that movie. The Manchurian Candidate. Lawrence Harvey and Angela Lansbury, old movies. Well, then here, 2000-something or another, here comes the movie remake. And that's what they'll do. See, they'll put something out here, and you don't pay any attention to it, and you just let it smear over, and you just accept it as a great. And next thing you know, here it is now, and it's got prongs and claws and scales and teeth and all that kind of stuff, and you accept it because it was okay. How much of our lives, from those of us that are born the time I was, we just accepted Mickey Mouse and the ears, and we sat down. Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? MICKEYMOUSE. We thought that was great. See something moving around that's not alive. Cartoon, one-dimensional kind of cartoon. Well, now you got the kids with the whole gown on and the pointed hat and the wand, and they standing at the United, the place that was the Universal Studios with their magic wand pointed up, talking about they're ready to be in charge and they know what they want to do and they can make it their own mind up. Hello? The same wizard, Walt Disney, that gave us the little fly, the little Mickey Mouse, the little Minnie, the little Goofy. Now, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren are calling themselves wizards. And they're proud of it, and they want the round glasses from Harry Potter. They made a woman that put movie and wizards and children developing skills in sorcery. They've made her a trillionaire almost. Why? Because she invaded the minds of the young. And then we see this fabulous movie, the Confessions, what is it? The Devil Wears Prada. Isn't that what it's called? The Devil Wears Prada. Isn't that the name of the movie? I'm looking for it on this page. The Devil Wears Prada. Where the woman, fabulous. I mean, they show in that movie some of the most beautiful designed costume coats and purses. When I see the movie, I always wait for the coats, the ermine, the chinchilla, the lynx, the minx, the lambs, the fox. The coats are just absolutely breathtaking. She throws them on a table for somebody to hang up. Bam! Every time you see it, she's throwing down another garment, because she wears Prada, and that's the place of the superior position of fashion. And every one of those pelts comes from a God-made animal. I'm thinking, we just don't know. And in that movie, she's fabulous. I mean, her hair is impeccable, her clothes, her articulation, her design prowess is just so excellent. She's so informed and so attuned to what fashion should be. And then she says, I want a copy of the latest Harry Potter book for my twin, her little girls. She's interested in her daughters developing sorcery skills, being entertained by darkness. That is important to her. Why? Because that's the substance from which she's made. And she recognizes that those twins, and the fact that they're twins is not just some coincidence. Have you looked in Hollywood how many twins are being born? Do you see the concept of how the Bible says, where two on earth agree touching? That means that Satan is putting an army of people in position that can touch and agree. Why? Because they come from the same womb, from separate eggs that can come and touch, or separate sperm, 2 eggs, whatever way it worked, there's 2 beings. And as a result, now they have no morals. They don't think of things as good and evil. There's no good and bad. It's only what you want. Our thinking is being altered every day. And that's the reason you can't allow yourself to become a part of this scheme. You got to seek a way to be pleasing to God. Ask God what's good. He'll give you a taste in your mouth. Oh, the Outbreak movie with Dustin Hoffman. Oh, how something can come in and then just destroy you. And we got so many diseases now that can just destroy us. And all they got to do, see, they've already laid the groundwork for the Ebola and the swine and this flu and this and that and this and that. So now you know about all these things. So when they just release it all on you, you don't know what to do except that's the plan. That's the tactic for eugenics. Do you know what eugenics is? Most people don't know. Look it up. Eugenics. Elimination of unnecessary racial groups. Elimination of weed-like existence of peoples around the world that are consuming resources that the elite feel that they are the only ones that deserve. So putting you to sleep. So they do it and destroying the races that has a place in God's heart. That's the reason for the Holocaust. God loved the Jews. That's the reason for slavery and perpetual killing in the neighborhoods where black people live. God loves black people. Satan wants us to hate each other so that we don't ever see the value in each other and get to a place where we appreciate and guard each other, pray for each other, love each other, commit to standing together with one another and making available to God the power of agreement, in agreement with his plan for us. Oh, Tales from the Crypt with Vincent Price. Needful Things with Ed Harris. Dax Van Sydow. Oh, God. All those things. Start becoming a student. Get curious. I'll see you later. This is Ralphena.